Today we're talking about Dracula, a Love Tale. Yes, that is the actual title. It sounds like a generic romance novel you buy at an airport newsstand. This is actually the latest fever dream from the man, the myth, and the absolute maniac of French cinema, Luc Besson. Imagine if you took the classic Bram Stoker story, stripped out the Gothic shadows, added a little magical Axe body spray subplot, and cast the one guy who always plays the creepy weirdo as the ultimate romantic lead. Prince Vlad renounces God after his wife dies, spends 400 years making a magic perfume to pick up chicks, and eventually tries to steal a real estate agent's fiancée because he thinks she's his reincarnated ex. It is wild. My emotional reaction to this film is complicated. It's like eating a really fancy cake that someone accidentally dropped on the floor. It's still delicious. There's some dirt in the frosting, but we have to talk about why. Because when Luc Besson swings, he swings hard, and sometimes he hits a home run, sometimes the bat flies out of his hands and hits a nun in the face. Buckle up, grab your garlic, and let's do this. We start, as all Dracula movies must, with the origin story. We are in Wallachia. Enter Prince Vladimir. He's played by Caleb Landry Jones. Now, usually Dracula is played by someone suave like Gary Oldman or intimidating like Christopher Lee. Caleb Landry Jones plays him like a sad, wet cat that you found in a dumpster. You know what? I kind of dig that. The film opens with Vlad's wife, Elisabetta, dying during a battle with the Ottomans. Standard stuff, but right away you notice something. The lighting. You guys know how usually Dracula movies look like they were filmed inside a chimney? Just pure black and gray. Not here. Besson and his DP, Colin Wunzerman, decided to light this thing up. It's inspired by the Flemish paintings, but practically speaking, it means you can actually see the movie. It's bright, it's colorful, and it's a bold choice that immediately tells you this isn't your daddy's Hammer. So Elisabetta dies, Vlad gets mad, he blames God, he kills a priest, and God, being the petty drama queen of the Old Testament, curses Vlad to live forever. Fast forward 400 years, we are now in the 19th century. Enter Jonathan Harker. He's a solicitor. He's here to talk real estate. And this is where the movie gets real Besson-y. In the book, Dracula is a shadowy, imposing figure. In this movie, Dracula spent 4 centuries becoming a chemist. And I'm not joking. The plot hinges on the fact that Dracula has been developing this magical perfume. He literally brewed Love Potion number 9 to lure the reincarnation of his wife. He's basically running a supernatural Sephora out of his castle. So Harker shows up. Dracula sees a picture of Harker's fiancée, Mina. Surprise! She looks exactly like Elisabetta. Because of course she does. Dracula decides, okay, I need to get to Paris to steal this guy's girl. But first, he needs a snack. He's looking old. He looks like a raisin that was left in the sun too long. So what does he do? He drinks the blood of nuns, a whole convent of them. This scene is gnarly. It doesn't spare the gore. For a guy who claims he doesn't like horror, Luc Besson sure loves to show us some arterial spray. But after his protein shake, Dracula rejuvenates. He's young again. He heads to Paris. Now we meet Maria. She's a vampire minion. Maria is helping Vlad track down Mina. And this brings us to the second act, which is basically the Paris trip. This is where the movie experiences what I like to call a tonal whiplash. We go from gory nun massacre to whimsical romantic comedy in Paris. Vlad meets Mina. He destroys the perfume because he wants her to love him for him, not his scent. How sweet. But here's my issue, and this is a big one. This is a massive lull in the middle of the movie. We spend a lot of time with the love tale part, but it feels kind of clunky. And look, I appreciate the route Besson took. He wanted to make Dracula empathetic, sad, and awkward. He's an immortal incel who just wants a hug. And the dialogue sometimes feels like it was translated from French to English via Google Translate and then back again. And there's this weird levity to it. Besson is a guy who made The Fifth Element, so I welcome the humor. I love it when movies don't take themselves too seriously, but sometimes you're watching a tragic scene and suddenly it feels like a slapstick comedy. It undercuts the drama. If you're enjoying this video, hit like and maybe subscribe. If you want to support the channel a little further, hit that join button below to join our memberships. Also, I have other horror movie reviews down in the playlist below. Anyway, Mina eventually realizes she is the reincarnation of Elisabetta. She gets the memories back. She falls for the weird, pale emo kid. She begs him to turn her. "Bite me, Vlad," she says, but the church is onto them. An expeditionary force led by a priest and Jonathan Harker, who escaped the castle earlier, long story involving a frozen lake, and laid siege to Dracula's stronghold. I really actually enjoyed the last part of this, the siege of the castle. I've never seen it done like that before, with them firing cannons at the actual castle. It's chaotic and it's loud. Much more action-packed than I was expecting. When the siege happens, it's not just CGI armies bumping into each other. It actually feels tactical and it feels bloody. Dracula is fighting off the army and he's confronted by the priest, and this is the climax. The priest pulls the "use the force, Luke" moment on him. He tells Dracula, "Hey, if you really love her, don't damn her to hell, repent." And Dracula actually listens. He realizes, you know what, you're right. If I turn her, she's stuck in this miserable existence with me. So in a moment of tragic romance, Dracula allows himself to be staked. He chooses death to save Mina's soul. He disintegrates into dust in her arms. And then, get this, the movie ends with a shot of these little monster minions. They're like the gargoyle statues come to life. Those are his little workers. There are no three wives in this. And they are turned back into young boys walking out of the castle. I'm like, what? These were children? There were kids the whole time? What the hell? He was using child labor for his evil castle? This is pretty dark, even for Luc Besson. Besson has been very vocal in interviews. He doesn't see this as a horror movie. He sees it as the ultimate tragic romance. The central theme here is love versus possession. For 400 years, Dracula thinks love is about acquiring the object of your affection. That's why he makes the perfume. That's why he turns women into vampires to hunt Elisabetta. He treats love like a transaction or a hunt. But the arc of the movie, and this is why the ending actually works for me, is his realization that true love is sacrifice. It's a bit cliche, I guess, but I love you so much I have to let you go. With Caleb Landry Jones's performance, it lands. He plays Dracula not as a master of evil, but as a guy who is profoundly, exhaustingly lonely. And there's also the religious angle. And in the beginning, Vlad renounces God because God failed to protect his wife. By the end, he has to submit to God to save her. It's a fascinating flip. Usually in vampire movies, the cross burns them because they are evil. Here, the religious iconography represents the peace he's been denied. The curse wasn't just immortality. The curse was his own refusal to accept loss. Also, we have to talk about the visuals again. Besson uses light to show truth and darkness to show curse. Unlike previous adaptations, I mean, shout out to Coppola's masterpiece, which is still the king in my opinion, by the way. This movie isn't afraid of the sun. It suggests that Dracula's redemption was always there, hidden in the light, if he just stopped hiding in the dark. Deep, maybe, or maybe Besson just wanted to show off the costumes. The Elisabetta gown had a veil 8 meters long, made of Japanese silk organza. You don't hide that in the shadows. So overall, I would give Dracula a love tale a solid 3 out of 5. It is a hot mess, but it is a fascinating, beautiful hot mess. Visually, the thing is stunning. Besson ditches that muddy, dark, filmed inside a chimney look for a bright, vibrant aesthetic that actually pops off the screen. Caleb Landry Jones, you cannot look away. He plays Dracula not as a monster, but as an awkward, empathetic, weirdly human emo kid. It's a great performance. Also, the action at the end, the castle siege, it delivers. And when the signature Luc Besson humor lands, it's fun, kind of a cheesy ride sometimes, with that extra layer of levity to it. And honestly, there is a cool theme buried in here. The movie explores love versus possession. It flips the script to show that the true love isn't about owning someone for 400 years, but having the strength to let them go. It uses the lighting to show Dracula stepping out of the shadows of his own selfishness. There is some tonal whiplash with this movie, though. I mean, it takes itself so seriously in that opening part, and then they're like having these little joke parts in it. It kind of threw me off, but then I remembered it was Luc Besson. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. And the pacing in the middle drags when he's swooning over Mina. It's just the love tale ironically feels like the least passionate part of the movie to me. And I can't get over this Perfume plot. I'm sorry. The Prince of Darkness relying on a magical eau de cologne to get the date. It's silly and I don't know, it kind of kills the stakes. And at the end of the day, we live in a world where Coppola's Dracula is still king and Robert Eggers' Nosferatu gave us a masterclass in horror. This just feels okay by comparison. It doesn't stray too far from the original, which honestly, maybe it should have. If you're going to go full Besson, just go full Fifth Element. Give Dracula a flying taxi. But what did you think of Dracula Love Tale? Are you interested in seeing it? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, tell me your favorite Dracula actor. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and maybe subscribe. Hit the join button below to support the channel a little further. I have exclusive content on there as well as these uncensored movie reviews. I also have more horror movie reviews down in the playlist below. And I'll see you later. Bye.